So we're going to talk today about small businesses. Building your own business is exciting, but can also be challenging. The best way to help ensure your business is successful and protecting it to make sure that you're familiar with ways to protect your business, as well as find out about resources that are available. We hope today's webinar will help all business owners, especially those small business owners, learn about different insurance products that are available to you and how to access resources that are available. So just a few housekeeping rules. This event is being recorded. Please leave phones and computers on mute for this event. If you are not presenting, please keep your camera off. If you have questions for today's speakers, please use the chat box and make sure your questions are sent to everyone and not the speaker or host. And we will save the questions for the end. So now I'd like to introduce our first speaker, which will be Associate Commissioner of Consumer Education and Advocacy, Joy Hatchett.
Thank you, Kiana. And I'm going to start this by saying that we take here at the Maryland Insurance Administration, we take these presentations very seriously. They're an opportunity for consumers and business owners to learn about important issues. And I've just noticed that there's something in the chat that appears that it came from me, and it did not. And I would ask people to be respectful of the people that are attending this session so that they can have the opportunity to learn about insurance topics that are important to them. With that, let me go ahead and get started. So, and what I'm going to do today is there are a lot of slides here. I am going to go through them at relatively different paces. You will have the opportunity to get a copy of all of the slides. You can look at our website or you can email Kiana, and Kiana will send you out a copy of the slides. Also, this session, if you know someone that could benefit from it and they have not actually been able to attend today, the session will be on our website. And if you have questions after this that you don't have the opportunity to ask, please feel free to reach out to us and we will be happy to answer your questions. Because just remember, the Maryland Insurance Administration, for those of you that don't know, we are the state agency that regulates the business of insurance. We are here to try to help you understand your insurance policies, give you tips on how to save money on those policies. And then if you have an issue with an insurance company, we're the state agency that you can come to. So we don't endorse any particular company, and we don't endorse any particular product. We are here just to try to help you better understand things before you have a problem with an insurance company, making sure that you have purchased the type of policy that actually covers your issues and concerns. So that's sort of what we're going to start with today. Next slide, please. And let's advance one more slide, please. So let's talk about commercial insurance. So there are many types of options that businesses have when it comes to insurance. And the thing that you need to do is really think about what your individual business is, because all businesses are not alike. And unlike your auto and your normal homeowners insurance, your business insurance needs to really cater to your specific concerns and the amount of risk that your business has and the specific type of risk. And what we encourage business owners to do are two things. First, sit back and think for a few minutes about your business. What does your business do? Do you sell widgets? Do you transport people here and there? Do you make things? And so all of those things have to do with your specific risk. For example, if you own a transportation company and you're moving people back and forth, that's one type of risk. If you own a restaurant and you're cooking, that's a different type of risk. And the types of insurance that you need are going to be based on that specific risk. So once you've thought about your business, then the next key thing is talking to an insurance producer. Now, that term may not be familiar to all of you. That is an insurance term, but a producer is an insurance agent or a broker. And you need to talk to them about what your business does, and they can help you talk about the different type of policy that's available and the different types of coverage that may fit your specific needs. Next slide, please. So one of the things that a lot of times people will do is they will just, and we'll get into this in a little bit, purchase a general commercial policy. But that type of policy may not fit your specific needs. And also, more importantly, the type of policy that you get when you start your business may change, or you may need to change it over time as your business begins to grow. For example, you start hiring employees or you start getting different locations. So just remember that you're going to find an insurance producer and work with that producer, and always keep that insurance producer informed about changes in your business. Either you're adding on employees, you're adding on buildings. You, instead of creating widgets, you now create records. So make sure that they know exactly what you're doing so they can help make sure that you have the right insurance coverage. Next slide, please. So next slide. Okay, right here. So let's talk about one of the key things that most businesses come encounter with. Whether or not they need a commercial automobile insurance policy, or if their personal automobile insurance policy will take care of their particular concerns. So what does that mean? A lot of people, especially small business owners, will use their vehicle for, let's say, transporting items to different locations, or they may end up letting an employee drive the company's vehicle. There are all types of ways that a car or van can be involved. Now, most people will think, well, if I don't have a company logo on it and it's just my personal vehicle, then my personal insurance should be sufficient. Maybe yes, maybe no. And that's where it gets into talking to that insurance producer and explaining to them how you use the vehicle and who is driving that vehicle. And the reason that that's so important, let's say you have an employee and they are delivering goods in your car to a location, and they get involved in an auto accident, and they're delivering those goods specifically for a commercial purpose. Your personal automobile policy may specifically exclude that delivery. And so if there's a claim, then that claim may not be paid. Also, there may be limits under your personal auto policy that exceed, that do not meet the amount that you need for the claim. So it's so important that you talk to your insurance producer to make sure if something bad happens, you're covered. Next slide, please. And so this slide tells you some of the things that your insurance producer is going to ask you. Is it an owned vehicle? Is it a leased vehicle? Is it in the name of the business? Is it in your name? Who drives it? And then what, most importantly, what is that vehicle used for? Transporting stuff, transporting people, or transporting any hazardous material. And all of those things are factors that the insurance company will use when they're determining your premium. Next slide, please. The other big thing that your insurance producer is going to want to know is if you have employees driving your vehicle, what is their driving record? Remember, I mentioned risk. So if you have an employee that drives your vehicle and they have a lot of tickets or have had a lot of accidents, that's additional risk. And that means your policy is going to cost more. Also, if you have a lien on the particular vehicle, some lending institutions are going to require that you have specific coverage to protect their interest in the vehicle. So you also really need to make sure that you let your broker know, or insurance agent producer know, so they can assist you with that as well. Next slide, please. And then this just goes over some additional information about things that you need to talk to your insurance producer about. Next slide. And then once again, going back to if you have employees that drive that vehicle, a lot of times people will say, well, if I tell the insurance company that I have these employees that drive the vehicle, then my rates are going to go up. And so there may be hesitancy to tell your insurance company that. Please remember, insurance companies find this information out. Your failure to disclose this and to disclose the full amount of the risk may basically mean not only will your insurance company cancel, or may not cover the claim, they may make the decision that you didn't disclose this information, and because of that, you don't meet their underwriting guidelines, and they may make the decision to cancel you. So just make sure you disclose everything. Next slide, please. So we covered a lot about your vehicles. The next thing we want to talk about is where you operate, the physical space, and then I also am going to spend a little time talking about any equipment that you have. These things are generally covered under the property coverage. So there's going to be a certain type of coverage for the building. Now, it could be if you own the building, but it also could be if you lease the building based on requirements from your landlord. And one of the things that I tell people, make sure you understand the terms of your lease. Sometimes landlords are going to require that you have a certain amount of property coverage to cover the building that you're living in. So just make sure that you understand that. And also make sure you are thinking about the equipment that's in that building and that you include that in your coverage for the property itself. Next slide. And so this slide really covers all the different things that are going to be included in property coverage. As I said, the building, any inventory, your furniture, your machines, the computers, basically anything that's in that building. I'm not going to go over everything, but you'll be able to go over this list with your insurance producer and make sure that you have a complete list of everything. Next slide. And I'm just going to show you this slide. These are the different types of property forms that are available. It's just important that you don't, insurance is complicated. I don't expect you to understand all the ins and outs, but this slide will at least help you start to understand the different types of forms and allow you to ask questions of that insurance producer. Next slide. Okay, now this is really important. So with property coverage, there are two basic, now there's some other sub types of way that they cover, but these are the two basic types of ways insurance companies will pay claims. There's something called actual cash value, and the other thing is called replacement cost. So actual cash value, basically, that is just what it says. If you have a claim and at the time the insurance company is going to pay you what your property was worth at the time they pay the claim. So what it does is it subtracts depreciation. So let's say you have a table, and at the time, years and years ago, when you purchased that table, you purchased it for $1,000. Over time, that table has depreciated. It's lost its value. So let's say today you have a claim, and over time, that table has depreciated, and instead of being worth $1,000, it's only worth $500. If you have an actual cash value policy, all you're going to get is $500 because that's what the table is worth at this point. If you have something called a replacement cost policy, then what the insurance company will do is they will give you the cost to replace or repair that item for the same or similar item. So they do not subtract depreciation. But if you have a 6-foot table, you don't get to get an 8-foot or a 10-foot table. You get the same type of table that you originally purchased. And you must actually replace the item in order to get replacement cost. Now, because a replacement cost policy generally pays more out when you have a claim, it's also going to cost more. So make sure you talk to your insurance producer about that. Next slide, please. So one of the big questions that we get from consumers is, what kind of insurance will cover me if, because of the damage, I can't operate my business? And it's called business interruption or continuity of business. But the key is that the reason that you can't operate your business has to be a covered claim. So basically, if one of your next door neighbors has a claim and your business wasn't impacted by the fire or whatever, then as a general rule, business interruption won't impact you. It has to be something that directly impacts you. Now, business interruption insurance will generally cover things like your payroll, your utility bills, and it may actually cover lost income. But you are going to have to produce records to show what that lost payroll was, what that lost income was. And the insurance companies are going to require that you produce meticulous records so that they can actually see the amount of the loss. Next slide, please. Now, and this goes into a little bit more of the specifics about, because on some of these policies, you can add the business interruption insurance. So it's just important that you know that that is an option. And also, generally speaking, under most business interruption policies, usually there's like a 3, 4, or 5 day period that has to pass before this coverage kicks in. So if you have the fire on a Sunday, you may end up waiting 3 or 4 days before you can put in for a claim for that loss. So it's not going to cover day 1, day 2, day 3. Make sure you understand under the terms of your policy when actually it starts making payment. Next slide, please. So the other big thing that people often want to know is what type of insurance will cover them if someone is injured on their property. Now, I'm not talking about an employee, because that's workers' comp, and that's a whole different subject. But this is basically if somebody or some things are injured or damaged. These are called liability or commercial general liability policies. And they generally cover things like bodily injury and things of that nature. This slide will give you a general overview of what's included. And once again, this is a lot of information. We don't expect you to know all of this, but just have these slides so that when you're having that conversation with the trusted producer, you can ask, well, wait a second, what happens if somebody is injured, or if something bad happens? They'll be able to help you with that. Next slide. And then this just goes into a little bit more detail about what happens and what kinds of coverages are out there. Next slide. And here's some more questions that you can ask when you're talking to your producer. Next slide. So a lot of times we will get, it's one thing if you're trying to figure out how much coverage you need for the building or for your widgets. You can basically look at a chart and figure out how much things cost. It's more difficult when you're trying to figure out how much coverage you need if someone is injured. And that's one of the things that you really need to think about: the types of injury, the cost of medical bills, potentially their lost wages, and also pain and suffering. And your insurance producer can help you figure out how much coverage you should be getting. Next slide. So those things are all the basic types of insurance for businesses. Now I'm going to go over a few of the coverages that are out there that you should think about. The first one, especially these days, is really important. It is cyber liability insurance. And this really, now these days, it's become more and more important because there are many, many more security breaches, and there's added protection there. But all cyber liability coverage is not the same. You really need to figure out what your potential for risk is, and then determine what type of cyber policy fits your particular needs. Next slide. Okay, so flood insurance. Flood insurance is something that is, generally speaking, not going to be covered under your typical commercial policy. You can generally buy it as an add-on, or you can buy a totally separate flood insurance policy. And you need to think about, is your business located in a place that has a propensity for flooding? So the last time we had a heavy rain, did your area have flooding? And even if it didn't, does your nearby neighborhood have flooding? And you really need to consider it. And a lot of people will say, well, I'm not in a flood zone. Just because you're not in a zone that has been marked as a flood zone, you may still be at a high risk for flooding. Your insurance producer may or may not know a lot about flood insurance. You can go to our website, and there's lots of information there. And it's important that you understand what you're getting with flood insurance. First of all, unlike most commercial or your homeowner's policies, you have to buy one policy for the structure and a totally different policy for the stuff. Things in the basement, as a general rule, aren't covered. And then there are also very specific things that may or may not be covered. So we tell people, consider flood insurance, but really understand what you're purchasing before you get it. Next slide. And this is just some general information about flood insurance. But here's the key, that last paragraph. You don't get to buy flood insurance when the flood waters are rising. There's a 30-day waiting period. So as business owners, you're used to planning. You need to think about whether or not you should purchase flood insurance well before there's a possibility that you need it. Next slide. And then this is just some more information on flood insurance. Next slide. BOPs. These are, and a lot of producers will really tell small business owners to purchase a BOP. And that may be the policy you need. It's basically includes a lot of the basic coverages, but just make sure that before you say yes to a BOP, that your insurance producer understands the particulars of your business, because it may not be the right policy for you. Next slide. And then this is just some additional information on BOPs. Okay, now, this is the area that I do want folks to focus on, because a lot of us, since COVID, have started to work from home. And a lot of business owners operate their business out of their homes. And a lot of people think that their homeowner's insurance policy will cover any damages that they sustain while operating their business. I cannot stress this enough. Sometimes your homeowner's policy will. Sometimes you just need to add some additional coverages to your homeowner's policy. But sometimes you're going to need a totally separate policy. And the key here is you don't want to find out that your business items are not covered when you have a claim. Find it out beforehand so that you can make sure that you have a policy that covers you in the event of a loss. Next slide. And okay, so I am not going to go through everything on these next few slides. These are tips and things that you should think about to secure your property, help reduce your premiums, and all of these things are intended to help you as a small business owner. So Gia, why don't you just flip through the next few slides? And this is our contact information. We have lots of information and brochures available on our website. I'd say basically, don't feel as if you've got to read all of this information on a weekend. Read bits and pieces, and then feel free to reach out to us in case you have any questions. And Kiana, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Joy. So our next speaker is going to be from U.S. Small Business Administration, Tanya McCoy.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Unfortunately, at this time, I will not be able to turn my camera on, so please bear with me. Today, I am going to discuss the programs and services the SBA have available for business owners. The Small Business Administration was created in 1953 to aid, counsel, and assist small business owners. We focus on the 3 C's of entrepreneurship. That's capital, counseling and training, and certification. Through working with the SBA, small business owners are empowered to succeed with valuable resources, business trainings, access to capital, and the right expertise for each stage of the business life cycle. I want you to ask yourself, where are you in your business life cycle, and what are you looking to achieve? In most cases, SBA can assist businesses recovering from disasters such as COVID-19 pandemic or the natural disaster, such as a hurricane. Now, I'm going to talk about our resource partners. The SBA Resource Partners Network helped to extend outreach to serve the nation's small business community outside of the district offices. We can't do it all by ourselves, so we rely on our resource partners for assistance. Now, when you need reliable advice to start or grow your business, the SBA can connect you with experts who understand the business climate at both a national and local level. We are here to help you. Remember that no matter what you're going through with your business, we are here to help you and give you guidance. We have over 1,400 resource partners and centers nationwide. Now, the first resource partner I want to talk about today is SCORE. Now, SCORE is the nation's largest mentoring organization. The mentors are prior business owners and or executives who have real world experiences that you are looking to gain and want in a mentor. You can meet with SCORE mentors in person, virtually, over the phone, or via email. They offer mentorship, counseling, and free webinars. The second resource partner that I want to talk about is the SBDC, or the Small Business Development Center. They offer free business consulting and counseling for planning, launching, and growing a business. The consultants at the SBDC can also assist small businesses with applying for financing, federal certification, and purchasing an existing business. The next resource partner is the WBC, or the Women's Business Center. Now, the WBC provides essential business counseling and training for women business owners. They have a focus on women business owners, but will help all business owners that need assistance. Each center tailors its services to help small businesses navigate the challenges that women often face when starting or growing a business. Now, some WBCs are actually approved micro lenders. The next resource partner, and the last resource partner I'm going to discuss, is our VBOC, or our Veterans Business Outreach Center. They serve active duty service members, National Guard or Reserve members, veterans of any era, and military spouses. This resource partners offers business plan workshop, concept assessments, and mentorship. Now, the Baltimore District Office had a VBOC that opened a little over a year ago, and it has 3 locations in Maryland. Next, I will discuss our Community Navigator program on the next slide. The Community Navigator pilot program is an American Rescue Plan initiative designed to reduce barriers that underrepresented and underserved entrepreneurs often face in accessing programs they need to recover, grow, or start their business. This program provides funding to organizations that will work with entrepreneurs. These organizations will service diverse communities across the U.S. and Puerto Rico, and will serve as boots on the ground for SBA that will connect small businesses to critical resources and assistance, including financial assistance and access to capital, contracting and procurement, marketing operations, business development, exporting, and also they have industry-specific training. Reach out to these navigators. They are there to help you. They're there to give you more detailed assistance. They have the funding to do it. The American Rescue Plan provides the organizations with the assistance to provide more customized one-on-one services to you. Now, Maryland currently have 4 approved community navigators. You can find out more about the program and who they are by visiting our website, sba.gov, or you can email us and we can send you a list of our community navigators. Now, on the next slide, I will discuss some of SBA loan programs. That's the microloan, the 7A, and the 504 program. These are SBA-backed loan programs. Now, the SBA loan guarantee make it possible for many small businesses to have access to the capital they need to grow and or expand their business. Now, the guarantee is for the lender and not the borrower. Now, the first program I'm going to discuss is the microloan program. Now, these are smaller size loans up to $50,000, and they are serviced by our micro lenders or our intermediaries, but we call them micro lenders. We have 7 micro lenders in Maryland. Now, each micro lender has its own lending and credit requirements. The interest rates and repayment terms will vary from lender to lender, but generally, the micro lender will require some type of collateral as well as a personal guarantee of the business owner. The next loan program I would like to discuss is the 7A loan program. Now, this is SBA's most common loan program. The maximum loan amount is $5 million. These loans can be used for most business purposes, including short and long-term working capital, purchasing equipment, machinery, fixtures, furniture, supplies, or yes, even materials. Interest rates and repayment terms for the 7A loan program will vary from lender to lender, and it's on a case-by-case basis. The next loan program I want to discuss is the 504 loan program. Now, this program provides long-term fixed rate financing up to $5 million for major fixed assets that promote business growth and job creation. Now, the 504 loans are available through certified development companies or CDCs. Now, CDCs are SBA community-based partners who regulate nonprofits and promote economic development within their communities. We currently have 3 CDCs in Maryland. Now, with the 504 loan program, it can be used for the purchase or construction of existing buildings or land, new facilities, or long-term machinery and equipment. Now, keep in mind that a 504 loan cannot be used for working capital or inventory. It cannot be used for consolidating, repaying, or refinancing debt. And you absolutely can use it for investment and rental real estate. Now, the interest rates and repayment terms will also vary from lender to lender with this program. Now, let's discuss the lender match program on the next slide. Now, with all our business loan programs, you can apply directly to an approved SBA lender. A business plan is required when you submit your application, but let us do the work for you. The lender match can help you connect with SBA approved lenders who may specialize in your industry or type of project. There is a questionnaire that you will fill out, and lenders will start to contact you within 48 hours. Now, this is not a credit check or submission of your application. It is simply a system that connects you to the SBA lenders. Again, let us do the work for you. You don't have to go out and call each lender and talk with them. Let the lenders come to you. Now, on the next slide, I want to discuss our 4 certification programs. Now, government contracts are a tremendous financial opportunity for small businesses. The U.S. federal government is the world's largest customer, purchase all sorts of products and services. The government wants to buy from small businesses for several reasons. 1, they want to ensure that large businesses don't muscle out small businesses. And 2, they want to gain access to new ideas that small businesses provide, and they want to support small businesses as engines of economic development as well as job creation. Now, your small business must meet some basic requirements before you can compete for government contracts. Let's talk about it. Now, to participate in government contracting, you must register your business in the federal government's System for Award Management, or simply SAM. Now, using SAM, you will be able to certify that your business is eligible for contracts that are reserved for small businesses. And you will also be able to represent if your business is certified in any of SBA contracting programs. Before you can bid on a government proposal, you will need to get a unique entity identifier, or a UEI, which is a unique 12-character alphanumeric value. You will receive a UEI when you register in SAM. No longer use DUNS numbers. If your entity is already registered within SAM, your UEI has already been assigned to you. Now, the SBA works with federal agencies to award at least 23% of all prime government contract dollars each year to small businesses. And this is done through SBA's contracting programs. SBA contracting programs ensure that the process of winning contracts is taking place on a level playing field, and the government is considering a bid from all qualified businesses. So you most definitely want to look into see if the government purchase your product and or service you provide. You want to target no more than 3 agencies per year to do business with. The SBA has 4 contracting programs, which are the 8A program, the Hub Zone program, the WSB program, and yes, the Veterans program. The 8A Business Development Program is for small, socially and economically disadvantaged businesses. You can only participate in this program once in your business lifetime, and the certification lasts for 9 years. Now, the second program is the Hub Zone program. This program is for small businesses located and operated in historically underutilized business zones. The Hub Zone certified businesses also get a 10% price evaluation preference in full and open contract competitions. This means that if a Hub Zone certified business wants to bid on a contract that is not set aside specifically for the Hub Zone program, their price evaluation for the contract will be lessened by 10%. The next program, the WSB program, or the Women-Owned Small Business Program. Now, with this program, the federal government's goal is to award at least 5% of all federal contracting dollars to women small businesses every year. This program was created to help provide a level playing field for women business owners. These contracts are for specific industries in which women small businesses are underrepresented. There are currently 445 NAICS codes that are participating in the program. And when I say NAICS codes, I mean NAICS, which stands for North American Industry Classification System. It's a 6-digit numeric code that identifies the product and or service that your business provides. The last program I want to discuss is the Veterans Program. The Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business Program allows the federal government to award at least 3% of all federal contracting dollars to service disabled veteran-owned small businesses each year. Like the other programs, competition is limited for certain set-aside contracts to businesses that are certified within the program. Now, these certification programs are standalone programs, which means simply that you can be certified in more than one program. We encourage you, if you can qualify to apply for each of the programs, please do so. Increase your opportunities to do government contracting. Now, on the next slide, I'm going to talk about the Disaster Assistance Program. Now, disaster happens, and when it does, you want to be prepared. It's something that no one wants to consider as a business owner. Now, approximately 25% of businesses do not reopen after a major disaster. We want to prevent this from happening to you and your business. We would be delighted if all businesses reopen after disaster, but that's not always possible. Businesses can help prepare for disaster by having an up-to-date plan of action. You can look on our website for more information on how to create an up-to-date plan of action for a disaster. Now, when disaster happens, there is often a monetary toll that can be taken as well. When a disaster strikes, the SBA is there for you with affordable and accessible loans to get your business, home, and life back on track. Disaster can be anything from a natural disaster to the COVID-19 pandemic. SBA offered economic entry disaster loans in 2020 and 2021 to businesses who were experiencing a loss in revenue due to the pandemic. SBA assisted businesses who were affected by Hurricane Nicole and Hurricane Ian in November, just days after the disaster occurred. Now, SBA can also assist when an essential employee who is military reservist is called to active duty by providing loans to eligible small businesses with operating expenses. Now, Military Reservists Economic Entry Disaster Loan Program provides loans of up to $2 million to cover operating costs that cannot be met once the military reservist is called to active duty. Now remember, SBA is here to assist business owners. You do not have to do it alone. We are here to help you. Next slide, please. Now, thank you for listening to the overview of SBA programs and services. And please take a picture of our QR code and let us know how we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate the information. We now have time for questions. We did also have the resource as well, other resources that are available for small businesses. So if anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chat. Okay, looks like there are no questions.
Kiana, can you
Teresa,
show,
yes.
Kiana, can you please show the slide with the Maryland Health Connection? And there, I guess Gia, can you show that last, it's a slide, I think it's a part of the deck. It's the very last slide
Before the
that has the
questions.
information. We're here to help.
I was going to say, if you don't have the slide, Teresa.
Teresa already sent it. It's a part of the slide deck.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I have that one.
Okay.
Do we want to let Teresa take a few seconds just to?
Yeah, Teresa, if you could unmute yourself and just take the last 2 minutes and explain how the Maryland Health Connection can help small businesses.
Sure. Thank you so much, Joy. Hi, everyone. My name is Teresa Battaglia. I'm the Small Business Outreach Manager for the Maryland Health Connection. And if you're looking to have health insurance for your employees, we're here to help you with that. So the Maryland Health Connection for Small Business helps small businesses and nonprofit organizations by providing health and dental insurance coverage to their employees. So businesses can sign up any time of the year. MHE for Small Business is also the only place where small businesses may qualify for a federal tax credit to lower the cost of coverage for your employees. So we're here to help you. Please feel free to contact either myself. My name's Teresa Battaglia at teresa.battaglia@maryland.gov. Or you can also reach out to Mimi Halabrera, who is our Small Business Program Manager. And her number is 410-299-9919. If you can please reach out, we'd be more than happy to work with you. Make sure that you have the insurance that you need for a small business to make sure that you continue to thrive and have healthy and happy employees. Thank you.
Teresa, I just put in the website, but if you want to put in your contact information, oh, somebody did. I see that now. They've entered Mimi's information.
Yes, I did. I put the link for the website as well as the contact information.
Perfect.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so
about
much.
that.
No worries. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
So if there's no questions, I would like to thank everyone for joining us. Our information as well as this webinar will be on our website. Also, if you could take a few minutes just to do a quick survey on information that will help us to be able to better improve our webinars, as well as to provide more information that you may find useful for small businesses. We would appreciate that. And again, thank you for joining us. The form is in the chat box for you to fill out. And you will also be able to get on our website to see what webinars or presentations we have coming up. We have some information for homeowners where we will have information on homeowners insurance as well as flood. That will be happening in April, as well as planning for your retirement will also take place in April as well. So please view our website for more information, and also like us on our social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So if there's no questions, again, thank you, and we appreciate you spending your lunchtime with us.